I'm Buzzy the Knowledge Bug. Are you ready to explore the jungle? There are parts of 3 jungles here, all from different parts of the world. The Amazon area includes the jungles of South and Central America. It holds many neat things, like toucans and monkeys and even blue frogs. The African area has elephants and electric catfish and chameleons. In the Asian area, there are dragons and spitting fish, and even a plant that eats bugs. Why, there are just hundreds of things to see and do. So what are we waiting for? Let's go! These shy animals are smaller cousins of the horse and rhinoceros. Tapirs live alone, spending most of the night eating plants on the jungle floor. Their keen sense of smell helps them find the tastiest plants, and they use their flexible nose to pull the food into their mouth. When scared, tapirs run and jump into a nearby river and swim underwater. If the tapir is lucky, the enemy will leave before the tapir comes up for air. These wild jungle dogs don't bark. Instead, they talk to each other by whining, growling, and whistling. So sometimes they're called the whistling dog. Dholes travel through the jungle in packs, looking for food. They'll follow an animal for hours, jogging along until it gets too tired and stops running. If a tiger tries to take their food, dholes will chase it away, even though the tiger is twice their size. Dholes are very ferocious animals, not at all like the friendly dogs people have for pets. These wild... Male fiddler crabs have one normal claw and one huge claw. This huge claw is often seen flashing in the sun when a fiddler crab is warning other crabs to stay away. Both male and female fiddler crabs use their small claws to pick up the tiny plants they eat. Each crab makes a tunnel in the sand, burrowing down as deep as a foot. When the tide comes in, the crab covers the tunnel hole with a mud door and sits inside its dry home until the tide goes back out.
Hey.
Although one of the biggest living reptiles with huge jaws full of large teeth, crocodiles are rather timid animals. Even the cries of nearby birds can scare them into hiding underwater. In the water, crocodiles swim around with a swish of their strong tails. They can also stay underwater, lying on the river bottom for over an hour. Crocodiles prefer a slow life and only need to eat one meal a week. Large fish are their favorite food, but they can also use their strong jaws to pull land animals down into the water. When crocodiles are not floating in the cool river, they are sunbathing on shore with their mouths wide open. It may look silly, but the hot sunlight in their mouth helps warm up a crocodile's cold blood. Mandrills definitely have the most colorful face of any type of monkey. When angry, their blue and red faces get even more colorful, and they will yawn to show off their 4-inch-long fangs. Mandrills are just as powerful as the gorilla, so getting them angry is a bad idea. Mandrills actually tiptoe through the jungle, walking only on their fingertips and toes. They normally eat fruits and vegetables, but will also eat ants, beetles, and other insects. Ring-tailed lemurs have a long fuzzy tail with black and white rings on it. They search the floor for fruit and insects, walking on all fours and with tail waving. Climbing up into the understory trees, the ringtail will jump from tree to tree in search of flowers and leaves. At night, they curl up and sleep in a tree hollow or in a cave. Ring-tailed lemurs like to be in the warm sunshine, sitting upright with their arms out and their eyes closed. But even with their eyes closed and their heads sagging, they are still listening for danger. Like the ring-tailed lemur, sifaka lemurs love to sit in the sun with their hands out. Sifakas live in groups of 4 to 9, spending most of the day resting in the understory trees, or eating the tree's leaves, fruit, and bark. They prefer to get around by jumping from tree to tree. Sifakas have strong back feet that they use to launch themselves into the air, using their arms to steady themselves when they land. Since their legs are made for jumping, sifakas that come down to the jungle floor must hop along instead of walking. One of the biggest lemurs is the 2-foot-tall Indri. Besides being the biggest, they are one of the loudest. When an Indri family gets together, their deafening chorus can be heard almost 2 miles away. Their calls warn other Indris not to come into the family's home area. The Indris spend their days constantly looking for fruit, flowers, and young leaves to eat. The pangolin is also called the scaly anteater because its long, sticky tongue is perfect for grabbing ants, while its tough, scaly skin prevents bites and stings. Their long, sharp claws come in handy to tear open the nests of another favorite food, termites. When the pangolin is frightened, it rolls into a tight ball that even a leopard doesn't know what to do with. Pangolins usually look for food at night and spend their days sleeping in hollow trees. The tapping of this pint-sized bird can be heard throughout the jungle. Their beak can hit a tree almost faster than the eye can see, yet it doesn't seem to hurt the woodpeckers at all. The woodpecker hits its strong pointed beak against understory trees to get to the bugs under the bark. After pecking a hole, the woodpecker's long tongue digs out the bugs crawling inside. The woodpecker's feet, with 2 toes pointing up and 2 toes pointing down, can grab onto a tree like a pair of pliers. This makes it easy for the woodpecker to hang on to the side of the tree while tapping. Pygmy woodpeckers also use their beak to talk to each other by tapping out special rhythms. These reptiles are actually able to change the color of their skin. Chameleons can turn bright colors to frighten away other chameleons. They can also match the colors of the understory trees where they sit. A chameleon may even flatten its body and rock slowly back and forth like a leaf in the wind, hoping bugs will not be aware that a chameleon is close by. The only part of the chameleon that moves a lot is its eyes, which can each look in a different direction. This lets it watch for bugs in 2 different directions and decide how far away a bug is. When a bug comes near, the chameleon's long, sticky tongue shoots out to catch it. A chameleon's tongue is so long, it must be rolled up to fit inside its mouth. Tapping on trees is how this lemur spends its nights. Aye-ayes use their long middle finger to tap on tree trunks, trying to startle any bugs inside. When they hear a bug moving under the bark, eyes use their sharp teeth to bite a hole in the tree. Then they use their long finger to reach into the hole and pull out a tasty bug meal. It's easy to spot where the eye has been. Just look for a well-bitten tree. Okapis are cousins to the giraffe, but their short necks and stripes make them look more like a zebra. Their stripes make them hard to see, so they can stay hidden from leopards and other enemies. Okapis have a long blue tongue that can pull leaves, lianas, and shrubs down from the understory into their mouth. They also use their tongue like a wet washcloth, using it to clean their face and body. These brightly colored birds live in small, noisy family groups. Just like the hoatzin, the turaco can't fly very well, but it can easily scramble around tree branches. Turaco babies have claws on their wings to get out of their rickety twig nests and practice climbing on nearby branches. These birds eat fruits, including certain berries that will poison people, but don't bother the turaco at all. These monkeys are very shy and rarely come down to the jungle floor. Even though they don't have thumbs, their hook-like hands make swinging from branch to branch very easy. When jumping between trees, their arms, legs, and long tail are stretched out so the long hair can act as a parachute to slow them down. Colobus monkeys live in family groups that move from tree to tree. They usually stay in a canopy tree for only a day or two, until they eat all the fruit and leaves there. The family sleeps huddled together, except for one colobus that looks out for enemies. These small birds can hover around flowers like a hummingbird, although they prefer to perch on a branch. Their special tongue has a flap to spoon up a flower's juice, but they will also eat tiny insects. Female sunbirds weave a raindrop-shaped nest from grass and hang it from a tree branch. They choose a branch near a wasp nest because most enemies don't want a chance of run-in with a wasp. Bush babies are hard to spot at night because their fur blends in with the shadows and dark sky. Their big eyes and large ears also help the bush baby to see and hear bugs flying by or walking along the canopy trees. Bush babies can even see and hear tiny mosquitoes, actually grabbing them right out of the air with their long fingers. They also jump from branch to branch, searching for fruit and nuts. The hornbill is a bird that makes a very odd nest. The female hornbill searches high in the pavilion looking for tree holes for her nest. Then she sits inside the hole and covers the opening with mud, bird droppings, and chewed food. She leaves a small opening as she covers the hole, just big enough for a bird beak to poke through. Pythons and other enemies cannot get into the covered hole, so she and her babies will be safe. Since the female is shut inside the tree, the male hornbill brings food for both her and the babies. As the babies grow, the mother will break open the hole and go out to help get food. The baby hornbills then recover the hole until they too decide to leave the nest. This small hippopotamus is about the size of a very large pig. Its small size makes it easier for the pygmy hippo to move around in the jungle. Pygmy hippos spend most of their day resting in the water or on the riverbank. When they go underwater, they can stay there for several minutes before coming up for air. Underwater, their ears have flaps that close shut. But even then, they can still hear. They can even hear sounds behind them, because their ears can turn to face the back. Lily trotter. Big feet help these birds stand on lily pads. They move from lily pad to lily pad, stopping only to look for food underneath. Lily trotters can swim, but they hardly ever do. The nests they make are flimsy coils of weeds, so some lily trotters keep their eggs underneath their wings for safety. After the eggs hatch, the baby chicks continue to stay under their parents' wings. When the chicks are big enough to take care of themselves, they finally leave their parents' protection. Shoebill. These long-legged birds have a wide beak that is shaped like a shoe. The beak is perfect for finding crabs and fish in the muddy rivers and marshes where the shoebills wade. They hunt mainly at night, since they are rather shy birds. Shoebills make a clicking noise with their beaks when talking to each other because they don't have a voice. Their nests are very simple and are usually built in a flat grassy area. Goliath frog. While the poison arrow frog can fit in the palm of a hand, the Goliath frog is about the size of a pizza. They may be big, but Goliath frogs are slow jumpers and easy to catch. These frogs spend most of their lives in the deep pools of jungle rivers. They are quite shy, and when scared, they look for a rocky hole to hide in. Royal antelope. Most antelopes are about the size of a deer, but the royal antelope is no bigger than a rabbit. In fact, it is the smallest antelope in the world. The royal antelope spends the daytime sleeping in the thick jungle bushes. At night, it comes out to eat leaves and plants. The royal antelope has a very simple way of escaping leopards and other enemies. It can leap as high as 9 feet when running, dashing away when it lands before the enemy can find it. Like monkeys and apes, tarsiers are primates. Tarsiers are only about the size of a squirrel, but they have large saucer-shaped eyes and big ears. The oversized eyes and ears help tarsiers see and hear at night when they hunt for food. Although they live in the understory, tarsiers sit close to the jungle floor so they can jump down on bugs and reptiles that pass below. They catch food with their sharp teeth, then quickly jump back into the safety of the tree branches to eat their meal. When tarsiers go hunting, baby tarsiers come along by clinging to their mother's fur. Cormorant. These birds can be seen diving into jungle rivers and lakes. Under the water, cormorants chase fish by paddling with their webbed feet and steering with their tail feathers. Once they catch a fish in their beak, they come up to the surface and gobble it down. Cormorants really like the upside-down catfish, although they have a hard time swallowing them because of the catfish's spiny fins. After about an hour of diving and eating, a cormorant will head to the nearby beach or trees to dry its wings in the sun. Hoatzin. Flying is not what these odd-looking birds do best. They can barely fly, and when they do manage to fly, they usually end with a crash landing. However, all Hoatzins are first-class swimmers. Hoatzins build their nests over water as a way of protecting their young. Baby Hoatzins use a sharp claw on each wing to crawl out of their nest and dive into the river at the first sign of danger. When they feel safe, the babies use their claws to climb back up the tree to their nest. The claws vanish when they are 3 months old. Both baby and adult Hoatzins will only eat leaves. The leaves stay in their belly for 2 days and often give off a really bad smell. So Hoatzins are also known as the stink bird. The Hoatzin is found in the Amazon jungle. Scarlet ibis. It's easy to spot this long-legged bird as it wades in the water. The ibis can't see the river bottom very well, so it searches along the muddy bottom with its long beak. Its curved beak can easily pick bugs, crabs, fish, and clams out of the mud. Scarlet ibises hide their rough twig nests in the tall grasses, and each parent takes a turn sitting on the eggs. Dolphins are not really fish. They need to breathe air, even though they live in the water. So dolphins have to stick their head out of the water a lot to get fresh air through the hole on top of their head. The pink Potoo dolphin lives only in the murky rivers of the Amazon jungle. They can't see very well, so they make noises and listen to the echoes to tell them where things are, just like bats do. Using sound, the Potoo dolphin can hear rocks and trees, and even the fish and shrimp that the dolphin eats. These fish are a type of piranha that only eat fruit and plants. To get fruit, they will wait under trees until the ripe fruit drops into the river. Potoo are slow swimmers compared to other piranha, Maybe because pacu do not have to chase their dinner. Legends say that these fish will gobble up everything in the river, but they're not that terrible. Most piranhas eat sick or hurt animals. Some only eat tiny bits of fins or tails on other fish, which then grow back. And the pacu only eats fruit. Piranhas do have sharp teeth, but they're very tiny teeth, and each can only take tiny bites. But just because they can't gobble their food, this doesn't mean that piranhas are harmless. Large groups of piranhas have been known to eat a cow in minutes. Yeah. Rubber tree. When the bark of the rubber tree is cut, a thick white liquid oozes out. That liquid is raw rubber. People use rubber because it can be molded into different shapes, and because it will snap back to its original shape when stretched. Natives in the jungle chew the rubber like gum and play games with balls made of rubber. Other things rubber is used for are tires, sneakers, gloves, raincoats, and toys. Rubber is also used for erasers, which is how rubber got its name. Some naturalists found that small cubes made from the white liquid could rub pencil marks off of paper, so they called it rubber. Agouti. Agoutis wander across the jungle floor, searching for fruit and nuts to eat. One nut that the agouti eats is the Brazil nut. The agouti is the only animal with jaws strong enough to break open the Brazil nut's hard shell. While chewing, the agouti sits up on its hind legs, like a squirrel. An agouti with a full stomach will bury any nut it finds and come back for it later. Forgotten nuts can grow into new jungle trees. Most animals know that this frog's bright colors mean it's poisonous. Jungle natives sometimes put the frog's poison on the tips of arrows, so the frogs were named the poison arrow frog. There can be enough poison in one frog to kill several people. These tiny frogs hunt by day in the understory, feasting on termites and ants. Bromeliad pools are very important to poison arrow frogs, because that is where their babies grow up. When the babies hatch, they are carried to the nearest pool on their parents' back. Like the peacock, it's the male cock of the rock that is the more colorful. Only the males have the bright orange feathers that make this bird so recognizable. The males gather in big groups on the jungle floor, all using their colorful feathers to try and attract a female. But the male doesn't help the female hatch the eggs. Only the female will sit on the nest, because her dull brown feathers make it hard for enemies to spot both her and the nest. To be extra safe, the female often makes her nest on ledges high above the jungle floor. This furry animal may get its name from eating ants, but it also eats termites and bees. It's called giant because it is a lot bigger than the tamandua, pangolin, and other anteaters. Giant anteaters walk on their knuckles instead of their paws to keep their long, sharp claws from getting dull and worn. They move around with their long nose near the jungle floor, searching for food. When the giant anteater finds an ant nest, it tears and digs into the nest with its powerful claws, and uses its sticky 2-foot tongue to catch the ants. But even though giant anteaters can eat over 30,000 bugs each day, they only take a few bugs from each ant nest, so the nest doesn't die out. These green stones are one of the rarest jewels in the world. Emeralds are a type of crystal found inside other rocks. To get to the rocks and the emeralds inside, people explore caves or dig tunnels called mines. The best emeralds have small flaws in them, which make them even more beautiful. Because they are so rare, emeralds cost a lot of money. These small bugs are expert farmers. The leafcutter ants run up trees, cut off bits of leaves with their big jaws, and carry the bits back to their ant nest on the jungle floor. Instead of eating the leaves, the ants chew them up and spit them out. A special fungus that only grows in leafcutter ant nests will appear on the chewed leaves. The ants grow the fungus for food, tending their fungus garden just like a farmer growing vegetables. 1 million ants can live in a leafcutter ant nest, but when things get too crowded, some of them go off to make a new nest. When they move, the head ant carries a bit of the fungus and plants it at the new nest to start a new crop. Capybara. Most rodents, such as mice and rats, are pretty small. A capybara is also a rodent, but it can be as large as a big pig. In fact, capybaras are the biggest rodents in the world. Families of capybara can be found near rivers, where they eat the plants that grow along the riverbank. They are good swimmers and often hide underwater to get away from nearby ocelots or other animals. Once in the water, though, the capybara must watch out for caiman and piranha. Iguana. These big lizards are almost everywhere in the Amazon jungle. Iguanas can grow to over 6 feet in length, which makes them look scary. But iguanas are harmless because they only eat leaves and fruit. Like most reptiles, iguanas love to warm themselves in the sun. Iguanas will sun themselves on branches over a river, so they can dive into the water if there is danger, or if they get too hot. Iguanas can also hide on land, running up into the understory where their green skin blends in with the leaves. A few iguanas can even change the color of their skin, just like chameleons. This bird is one of the most colorful parrots around. Their loud screeching noises, slow flapping wings, and long tails also make them easy to spot. Macaws spend their days looking for seeds, nuts, and fruits. Macaw nests are built in holes in trees, usually in the understory or canopy part of the jungle. Macaws are popular pets because they are friendly and can be trained to repeat words. Caimans are reptiles. Except for a slightly wider mouth, they are almost identical to their cousin, the crocodile. They spend a lot of time in the river, using the back and forth movement of their tail to move them through the water. Caimans are not fussy eaters and grab whatever food they can catch. When they see a fish, snake, or bird, the caiman's big mouth can swallow them with one gulp. They will even pull capybaras off the beach. Sometimes caiman will lose their teeth as they gobble up their food. But there is no such thing as a toothless caiman, because their teeth always grow back. Coatis have black rings on their tails, just like their cousin, the raccoon. Coatis search for fruit in the understory and canopy trees, using their tails to stay balanced. When they come down to the jungle floor, they waddle along looking for fallen fruit, or use their long noses to dig for turtle eggs. Mothers travel in groups, constantly making a whining sound to let their babies know where they are. When frightened, their calls of alarm send all nearby coatis running up trees or under bushes. Splashing about a cave's river and pools, the water opossum is right at home. They have webbed feet, waterproof fur, and rough paws that are perfect for grabbing slippery water creatures. Since they close their eyes when swimming underwater, they use their sensitive fingers to help them find food. Once they've caught a meal, they swim to shore to eat it. Vampire bats are small, only as big as a sparrow. Groups of 100 to 6,000 bats can be found hanging in caves during the day. At night, the bats fly along rivers and openings in the understory, looking for sleeping animals. They can't walk at all once they land, but can be seen hopping along the jungle floor. While it is true that these bats drink blood for food, they are mostly harmless. Their quick, painless bite doesn't even wake a sleeping animal. Vampire bats don't really suck blood, but gently lap up the blood from the bite. This shy bird stalks quietly along shaded riverbanks looking for food. The sunbittern hunts for bugs, frogs, and other small animals that it can spear with its beak. Its speckled feathers blend in with the colors of the jungle floor, making the sunbittern hard to see. When the sunbittern spreads its feathers, the fine patterns on the underside of their wings can be seen. Although they spend lots of time on the jungle floor, sunbitterns build their bulky stick and mud nests in the nearby understory trees. At night, these creatures are seen scurrying about in the canopy trees. The kinkajou is a cousin of the coati. Kinkajous can use their long tail like a hand to grab onto tree branches, helping them climb. And their sharp claws let them climb head first down the tree without falling. But most amazing are their back feet, which have ankles that allow the feet to face backwards. So when they're climbing down a tree, their back feet can be pointing up while the rest of their body is pointing down. Of all the animals that eat ants in the jungle, the tamandua is the most common. While they spend most of their time in the canopy, tamanduas are equally at home on the jungle floor. Their tails can grab onto tree branches like a hand, allowing them to safely lean out to lick up a nearby ant. Their curved claws are used to open ant nests and termite nests, exposing the ants and termites inside that the tamanduas grab with their sticky tongues. The red, bald faces of these monkeys are a big change from their shaggy bodies. Wakaris may look fat, but they are really quite skinny underneath all their thick fur. Their short tails cannot hold on to tree branches, but this does not slow them down at all. They have a great sense of balance and can move gracefully and quickly through the high canopy trees. Toucans certainly have one of the largest beaks of any jungle bird. Some toucans have a beak as long as their body. The beak looks heavy, but it is really very light and perfect for reaching into a tree to get fruit. Toucans have an unusual way of eating. With the fruit on their beak tip, toucans throw back their head and toss the food into their mouth. Sometimes two toucans will even toss fruit to each other. Besides eating fruit, toucans also eat bugs, reptiles, and eggs from bird nests. Quetzal. These just might be the most beautiful birds in the world. Their colorful feathers and long tails are an amazing sight. Quetzals can be found in the understory and canopy, sitting quietly on a branch. They pick berries and other fruit with their beaks, hovering in front of the fruit if there's nowhere to sit. Like the toucan, quetzals like to toss the food up in the air and then gulp it down. The spider monkey's long arms and legs make it look like a giant spider. Its loud scream and long crashing leaps make it one of the noisiest animals in the canopy. Spider monkeys travel in groups of about 20, looking for fruit, flowers, and leaves. Their tails can grab a tree branch like a hand, freeing their real hands to grab even more food. Below the pavilion trees is the layer of thick canopy trees. Here, the rain, bright sunlight, and heat all help things to grow. Canopy trees can be as tall as 10-story buildings and are covered with leaves, flowers, lianas, and epiphytes. With so much plant life around, it's hard to see all the animals that live here. Flying snakes, sloths, bush babies, and orangutans are just some of the animals that live in the canopy. Gold tamarins are one of the smallest monkeys in the world. Golden lion tamarins have long golden hair around their faces, which looks like a lion's mane. This hair sticks straight out when they're trying to scare away enemies. Tamarins travel in groups, feeding on fruit in the canopy and drinking water from bromeliad pools. Their small hands are useful for reaching into tree cracks and pulling out bugs to eat. At night, they sleep together in hollow trees. This black and gray bird is rightly called one of the biggest eagles in the world. Few animals see them sitting up in the pavilion trees. The harpies just sit there, watching and listening for the animals they eat. Then they dive down on the surprised animal, grabbing it with their sharp claws. If they have to, they can chase a monkey through the canopy at 50 miles per hour. At that speed, it's amazing they don't run into a tree branch. But they are very nimble flyers and never run into anything. The flying gecko lives high in the jungle canopy and pavilion, moving from tree to tree by flying. To be honest, the flying gecko doesn't fly at all. It glides. Flaps of skin along their body, on their tail, and between their toes open up to slow their fall when they jump to another tree. Their long toes have sharp claws, which they use to grab onto the tree branch when they land. Flying geckos are busiest at night, when the jungle is cooler and fewer enemies are awake. The green leaves on a tree branch might really be this bug, eating sap from the tree. When their wings are closed, one of these green katydids looks just like a leaf. They sit very still, so that enemies won't see them. They will also shake like a leaf blowing in the wind, to make enemies believe that the katydid really is just a leaf. Leaf katydids are also musical, rubbing their legs against their wings to make sounds that attract other leaf katydids.
Must get up this rope.
A naturalist is a person who learns about nature by watching plants and animals. Naturalists learn the most by watching how plants and animals live while in their real homes. In places that are hard to get to, like the jungle canopy, they make bridges between the trees. One thing naturalists learned is that the tropical periwinkle can make some sick people better. Naturalists believe that in just one jungle there are still over 10,000 unknown plants and animals. Perhaps some of those unknown plants or animals can help people too. Squirrel monkeys get their name from their small size and the short, jerky movements that are so like a squirrel's. Squirrel monkeys travel in large groups, swinging through the canopy trees until food is found and then coming together to eat. While they like the safety of the canopy, they will travel down to the understory and floor in their search for berries, nuts, and fruits. Squirrel monkeys will also gobble up insects, spiders, lizards, hoatzin eggs, and even tent bats. When they aren't eating, they play and take turns cleaning each other's short fur. Although most owls are active only at night, this sparrow-sized bird hunts during the day. And while most owls stand very still, the pygmy owl rocks back and forth as it watches the trees for its next meal. When it sees a small bird, the owl quickly flies down and grabs the bird with needle-sharp claws. If a group of small birds spot the pygmy owl first, the birds will attack the owl and try to drive it out of the area. Sloths look like a shaggy rug, moving very, very slowly through the trees. In fact, it can take a sloth one whole day to do what a spider monkey can do in a few seconds. Sloths spend most of their life eating and sleeping upside down in the canopy. They are hard to spot among the green tree leaves because their fur has tiny plants growing on it that make it look green. Other things also live in the sloth's fur. Naturalists found beetles, moss, caterpillars, and other bugs living on just one sloth. Pygmy marmosets are one of the smallest monkeys in the world. The pygmy marmosets are good climbers, using their sharp claws to grab onto tree trunks. They eat tree sap, which they get by biting holes in the tree with their razor-sharp teeth. When feeding, the marmosets constantly chatter among themselves, like a flock of birds. Although noisy, pygmy marmosets are hard to find, because their golden-green fur blends in with the tree leaves. Caciques. In addition to the parrot, caciques may be the noisiest birds along the river. These black and yellow birds even copy other birds' songs to make their own song one of the best. Once they've won a mate with their noisy music, the females weave a drooping nest shaped like a raindrop. The nest is made of grass, twigs, and leaves. This raindrop shape keeps their babies safe from enemies, and also keeps the babies from falling out of the nest. Parrot. Howler monkeys. Each morning, these monkeys give a good loud howl to warn others to stay out of their home area. A group of howler monkeys can be heard for miles in the jungle. Howler monkeys spend their days sitting in the trees, picking leaves, flowers, and fruit to eat. If they see their favorite food in a nearby tree, they don't jump to it. Instead, they hold on to one tree with their tail and grab the other tree's branches with their hands, pulling it to them and climbing aboard. When their bellies are full, they move on to new trees and take a nap. At night, they move to the trees in the center of their home area and go to sleep. These monkeys have thick woolly fur, which is how they got their name. Woolly monkeys travel together in big groups, looking for food in both the canopy and understory. Sometimes they climb high into the pavilion to reach a favorite fruit tree. Because woolly monkeys spend most of their lives in trees, they are excellent climbers. Their long tail acts like a fifth hand to hold on to tree branches, and it also helps them keep their balance. The orange and black tiger wing markings warn enemies that this moth tastes bad. But at night, it's hard to see the warning colors, so the moth has other ways to keep enemies away. The moth sits and waits until an enemy is uncomfortably close and then darts out of reach. If a bat attacks, it makes loud clicking noises that confuse the bat. The tiger moth can also squirt a drop of bad-smelling liquid from its head, which makes most enemies go look for something less stinky to eat. These are the only monkeys awake at night, although they do take a nap around midnight. The rest of the night monkeys look for food all through the jungle, floor to pavilion. They can see so well in the dark that they can reach out and catch bugs as they fly by. During the day, they sleep cuddled together in a hollow tree. Night monkeys are also called owl monkeys, because they're awake at night and because their calls can sound like an owl's hoot. Hey, let's play a game! Just pick one, and away we go! If you need any help, just ask me, Buzzy the Knowledge Bug. How easy or how hard do you want the game to be? Are you ready for some trivia? Not only do knowledge bugs like to answer questions, we love to ask them too. That's how we get to learn so much great stuff. So now, I'm going to ask you some questions, and you can tell me the answers. Good luck! Good one! Which one of these is one of the biggest cats in the world? The Persian, the peanut, the agouti, the tiger. Super! A person who learns about nature by watching plants and animals is called a night watchman, a naturalist, a lookout, a diver. Which of these land animals are the largest? African elephants, chimpanzees, pygmy hippos, horses. Yes! The beginning of a new plant is called a seed, trunk, lobster, stone. Good answer! What does an African elephant use to pick up food from the jungle floor? A fork, its trunk, its tail, its tusks. How about this? How easy or... Which termites spend their lives laying eggs in the nest? Daddies, soldiers, workers, queens. 100% right! How about this? The quetzal is a type of bird, flower, lizard, fruit. 100% right! Which of these is a giant grass used to make pipes, cups, and houses? Bamboo, yams, cinnamon, alfalfa. Super! How about this? What are the world's biggest frogs? Goliath frogs, poison arrow frogs, Darwin frogs, red-eyed tree frogs. 100% right! Which is a type of banana that tastes like a potato? A cranberry, a cashew, a fig, a plantain. Bingo! The peanut is a type of metal object, fish, pea, insect. Do you go ahead and choose a level? Horseshoe crabs have one very large claw, blue blood, shells on their backs, furry tails. Bingo! The coati is related to the elephant, the pygmy hippo, the python, the raccoon. Bingo! Here's a question for you. Which animal sunbathes with its mouth open? The capybara, the crocodile, the aye-aye, the flying fox. Yes! What does the cave tetra do to scare away enemies? Open its mouth, make a face, blow bubbles, squirt poison. Ready? Go ahead and choose a level. Hello there! Let's play Find It! First, I, Fuzzy the Knowledge Bug, will choose something I know you can find back in the jungle. Then we'll buzz back over there and take a look. Keep your eyes open, and when you find what you're looking for, just click on it. Here's your first item. Now, let's see if you can find it. Down below is a picture of the item. It's somewhere in this area. You are playing an easy game of Find It. You'll find what you're looking for in this area. Click on it when you find it. Congratulations! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Down below is a picture of the item. It's somewhere in this area. Way to go! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Down below is a picture of the item. Peccaries can be found walking slowly along the jungle floor. Peccaries may look like pigs, but they're an entirely different kind of animal. Peccaries move so slow because they're sniffing out roots, seeds, young plants, and other things to eat. But when enemies come near, they can run away surprisingly fast. If they can't run away, they make their stiff back hair stand straight up to look bigger, and they show their sharp teeth. Even a jaguar thinks twice about attacking a mad peccary. The Potoo bird is often mistaken for a tree branch. Its splotchy brown feathers, which look like tree bark, combined with its ability to sit for hours without moving, make the Potoo hard to see. Sitting next to a tree trunk, the Potoo is almost invisible, and most enemies can't spot it. During the day, the Potoo tries to sleep, but at night, their eyes are open and watching, so the Potoo can swoop down on bugs. When sitting on a nest, the Potoo will sit with its face to the tree trunk, so enemies can't even spot the Potoo's eyes. Potoos hatch one egg at a time, and each baby imitates their parents' tree-like pose. Congratulations! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Gorillas are the biggest of all the apes. Gorillas are really very gentle animals, and usually scream and beat their chests only to scare enemies away. Gorillas travel together in families, searching the jungle for plants to eat. They normally stay on the floor, but will go into the understory to get a really tasty piece of fruit. If they're thirsty, they soak the fur on the back of their hand in the river and then suck the wet fur. At night, they sleep on beds made from broken tree branches. Way to go! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Way to go! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Way to go! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Way to go! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Congratulations! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Way to go! You found it! Let's find another. Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Excellent! You found them all! Let's find more! Okay, let's see if you can find this one. Good luck! Let's play another... Hey! Let's color some pictures! Let's play another game! Go ahead and choose a level. This game is Jungle Jumble. Try to unscramble these words. Click on a letter to pick it up, move it to where you want it, and click again to put it down. As you get the letters right, the picture unscrambles. On this level, I'll show you the word and picture unscrambled before you start. Have fun! The word is frog. Now, unscramble it. F-R-O-G, frog. The word is bird. Now, unscramble it. B-I-R-D, bird. The word is chick. Now, unscramble it. C-H-I-C-K, chick. The word is gold. Go ahead and The word is orangutan. O-R-A-N-G-U-T-A-N. Orangutan. The word is chameleon. Now, the letters with little screws in them can't be moved. The letters with little screws in them can't be moved. C-H-A-M-E-L-E-O-N. Chameleon. The word is snail. Now, unscramble it. S-N-A-I-L. Snail. The word is pineapple. Now, unscramble it. P-I-N-E-A-P-P-L-E. Pineapple. The word is stingray. Now, let's play another game! Welcome to Anteater Feeder. In this game, you're a hungry anteater trying to get lunch. Keep an eye on the face at the bottom of the screen. It will show you if you like what you're eating. The tongue shows you how much energy you have. And the picture of the anteater shows you how full you are. Let's get started. Level 1. You need to get 5 of these 2 points. You got 20 and needed 5. Good job! Level 2. You need to get 5 of these 2 points. Do you want to continue or start it? Let's get started. Level 2. You need to get 5 of these 2 points. You got 20 and needed 5. Good job! Level 3. You need to get 6 of these 2 points. You got 20 and needed 6. Good job! Level 4. You need to get 6 of these 2 points. Do you want to play another game? Those cave tetras are blind. If you live in a dark cave, I suppose you don't need eyes. It looks like that lizard has a balloon stuck in his throat. Without wild tomatoes like those, we wouldn't be able to eat BLTs. Wow! Look at the size of those lily pads! It sure would be fun to sit on those. That bridge is the only man-made thing you'll find in this jungle. Wow! Check out the face on that monkey on the left! Somebody must have really embarrassed him. There's bound to be some interesting animals at that waterfall. The monkeys with the funniest hairdos have to be the macaques. The hair on their head often looks like a hat, a bonnet, or a lion's mane. Some macaques live near rivers, beaches, or mangrove swamps because their main food is crabs. They sit along the river's edge grabbing crabs with their hands. They can even dive deep into the water chasing the crabs because these monkeys are excellent swimmers. Sometimes a spotted leopard will have a baby that is almost pure black. These black leopards are called black panthers. Their fur still has spots like a normal leopard, but it's hard to spot dark spots on dark fur. Hunting in the dark shadows of the jungle floor and understory, black panthers seem to appear out of nowhere when they attack. Those aren't doggies, they're dholes. Wow! Look at the size of that red flower by the tree. I'll bet that's about the biggest flower in the world. A bower is an archway of leaves and vines, shaped like the letter U. The male bowerbird builds his bower to attract the female. He starts building the bower out of sticks, and then decorates it with colorful flowers, seeds, berries, and plants. After the bower is finished, he calls the females to see his colorful bower. If a female approves of the male's bower, both bowerbirds leave the bower to start a family. The actual nest is built out of twigs in another part of the jungle. These birds are known for their fan-like tails, which they use to attract a mate. The females are actually called peahens, and like the female cock of the rock, have dull feathers to make them hard to see when they sit on their nests. Also like the cock of the rock, it is the male that is the colorful one. Both males and females eat seeds, fruits, and bugs. But they are really not very picky and will eat almost anything. People have reported peacocks chasing each other all around the bamboo stalks. Then the peacocks just stop and walk away. Naturalists are still trying to figure out this odd behavior. Like the flying fox and vampire bat, these parrots prefer to do their sleeping upside down. Hanging parrots are small birds, about the size of a robin, with green feathers and a brightly colored head. They don't talk as much as most parrots and have a much softer voice. During the day, hanging parrots climb around the tree branches, eating fruit, seeds, and nuts. They can use their tail feathers to carry things to their nest, something other parrots don't do. This reptile is one of the world's biggest lizards, growing up to 10 feet long. Because they are so big, Komodos are sometimes called the land crocodile. Although they stand low to the ground, Komodo dragons can attack animals as big as a tapir. Komodos use their long, thick tail to knock away other animals trying to get at their food. After eating a big meal, a Komodo dragon will be full for days and spend its time just lying in the sun. Hey, somebody better tell those fish to get back into the water. These odd little fish come out of the water and crawl on the mud. They still need water to breathe, so they hold water in their gills as they move from one water pool or river to another. Mud skippers can skip around as far as 2 feet before needing another gulp of water. In water, mud skippers hide in the mud and only come out to snap up nearby food with their big mouths. When mud skippers fight, each raises its fins in warning and then charges the other fish. But their attacks seem harmless, as they just hit each other with their open mouths. The slow loris moves as slow as a sloth, but it's really a lemur. The loris hangs from a branch during the day, sleeping with its head tucked between its feet. At night, the slow loris moves through the understory trees in search of food. It's not a fussy eater, eating anything from fruit to leaves to smaller animals. After a meal, it goes back to resting, or cleans itself with its comb-like front teeth. That chicken must be lost. This is the jungle, not the farm. If a smell like rotten onions floats over the jungle floor, the moon rat is probably close by. These bad-smelling creatures spend their nights hunting for bugs, fish, crabs, and snails. They can also use their long nose to dig up tasty roots. The moon rat's only real enemies are snakes, which seem to enjoy eating moon rats in spite of their bad smell. The Amazon jungle can be found in parts of South America and Central America. Gosh, rainforests sure have a lot of trees. Colobus monkeys take turns sleeping, so one is always awake to watch for enemies. The male hornbill brings food to his family up to 40 times a day. Crocodiles like to sit in the sun to warm up. Good thing they don't get sunburned. Okapis are cousins to the giraffe, but their short necks and